We're going to keep things moving here on Radio Boss. We're joined by young ladies. Matter of fact, we've got royalty on the line, right? You're going to know her from the Steve Harvey show back in the day. You don't know her from Soul Food. You're gonna know her from Friday. Daddy's little girl. Like if I were to say all of the projects you knew her from, we wouldn't even get this interview done. She's got a new one. Netflix's She the People she starred in. I had a chance to look at the trailer. It looks absolutely fantastic. The one and only Terri J. Vaughn joining us here on Radio Boss. Terri, welcome to the program.
Yay, I love that hyped up introduction. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Well, look, you've done it all, But let me start here. What does the J for all these years? What does the J stand for?
It's something you would never think of. I always put people to the test. Just tell me one thing the first thing that comes to mind.
Oh Lord, joy.
Oh, that would be good. No, it's not as interesting as that. It's actually Juanita.
Juanita. Okay.
Very
okay.
Juanita.
All right. Yep. Very cool. I love it. So, I want to start here because I had a chance to look at it. It looks like it's going to be very funny. It's interesting. You are the lieutenant. You play a role. You're the lieutenant governor of the state of Mississippi, which in of itself is interesting by itself. Okay. And we'll dig a little bit more into that. Right. Yes. So tell us about this. She the People. Netflix's She the People.
Yes. So it was inspired by my girlfriend. When my girlfriend, London Bree, became the mayor in San Francisco. I grew up in San Francisco, and we both grew up in the hood in San Francisco. And just knowing her backstory and watching her just go up the ranks and become the mayor of that city, being the first Black female mayor, it was just always very inspirational to me. And then just all the news and everything that was going on and the backlash that happened when she got into position and how they tried to stop her and all the stuff. I was like, gosh, that's an interesting story and a phenomenal character with so many layers. So that's where the inspiration came many years ago. And of course, the story that you guys are going to see come May 22nd on Netflix, it has evolved very much. So she is a woman from humble beginnings. Just, her family was, just for lack of better words, very ghetto, very hood, which a lot of us can relate to that. And so she has her family who is her family, but she also operates and works in a political climate that is very opposite of what her family is. It's very rigid. It's very white male. And so watching her navigate through these two different lives of her personal life with her family and her professional life as a politician, it's just, yes, it's just prime for a lot of drama, comedy, all the things. And I love getting to play her. She's a divorced mother, raising two teenagers, co-parenting with her ex-husband, dealing with a mom that's very sassy and all in her business. She hires her cousin to be her assistant, and her cousin is not as polished as she is. So we get to hit on all kind of things, and I just love it. I'm excited for you guys to see her.
Absolutely, like you said, May 22nd on Netflix. In the trailer, the governor, if you will, says, "Well, who are these people?" I just felt when he said that, I just felt a certain kind of way, and I think about Mississippi. You understand what I'm saying? So, have you ever spent any time in Mississippi?
Not really. And you know what? The funny thing is, when we first, me and Naya Palmer, that's my co-creator, when we first created the show together, we actually had moved it to Atlanta because, of course, I told you the inspiration came from my home from San Francisco, but we actually fleshed the story out to be in Atlanta because I just knew Atlanta has very interesting political ties when it comes to Black people. And so I just thought it would be very interesting to do it there. But once we got with Tyler, he added another layer to it by putting us in Mississippi. And I was like, oh my God, that's genius. The stories we can tell. So no, I haven't spent a lot of time, but I have a lot of friends from Mississippi. Lots.
Yeah. And so I'm sure you're touching on race. I mean, obviously in this project, can you sort of, because again, I mean, not to, but look, I mean, the fact of the matter is whenever I hear the word Mississippi, I mean, not very good things come to my mind. I mean, I'm just going to be, I mean, I'm of a certain age, but I wasn't around necessarily during the civil rights, era per se, but certain things come to my mind. But again, I'm sure you all touch on race in this project.
1000%. We touch on race. We touch on sexism. We touch on being a single woman in position, and how do you date? Can you date under these kind of circumstances? Co-parenting with an ex-husband, raising teenage kids as a single mom, in the in the times that we are now with social media and all that stuff. So we touch on everything. And to be honest, just real life has given us so many stories to pull from. So I'm like, okay, well, let me use this Trump era for good. Let me create some stories. So we got a lot to pull from. So yeah, it'll be all dead smack in your face.
That's the voice of Terri J. Vaughn joining us here on Radio Boss. She the People debuts on Netflix on May the 22nd. She's the star. You wrote this, correct? Came up with the storyline.
I came up with
Oh,
the
go ahead.
story came up with the whole storyline, and I had to find a writer to work with, and the writer that I found is Naya Palmer. So she's the writer, and then of course once we got to TPS with Tyler Perry, between her and him with the writing, they did their thing. And you guys will see when we drop the second half of our first season, because they're dropping the first 8 on May 22nd. The second 8, because we did 16 total, is going to drop in August. I can't remember the exact date, but the second half drops in August. And Tina Gordon, who is an amazing writer, director, joins our team for that second half. So she takes the lead.
Absolutely. And then we know Tyler Perry, but now I thought what was interesting is you worked with Keisha Lance Bottoms, the former
Yes.
mayor
Yes.
of Atlanta. Speak about that.
Yes. So actually, when I was basically to pitch this show, I shot a proof of concept first. And Naya and I decided that we were going to shoot a proof of concept during the strike, because all our jobs went away. Like, we had several jobs and they all went away. So we were like, you know what? We've been sitting with this show idea sitting on our shelf. Let's shoot a proof of concept. So when the strike is over, we'll have something to put out into the world as our pitch material. Instead of just trying to tell people what our vision is, we can actually show them what it is. And so when we decided to do that, I knew I wanted to stack our team as strong as possible. So given the storyline and the premise of our show, I thought it was important to have a voice that could speak to it, that would be official. And so I hit Keisha Lance Bottoms up and asked her if she would be interested in producing this concept with me. And when I shared the material and pitched the show to her, she fell in love with it. She said, yes, absolutely. I would love to join you. This all matters to me. And so once she came on board as an EP, that's how we were able to get our funding to shoot our proof of concept. And so it's been the 3 of us together, and we met with several people after the strike was over, and we all unanimously was like, we need to go with TP. He's the one.
Yeah, that is super awesome. So of course, Terri, like I got to take you back because I'm of a certain age, right? The Steve Harvey show. You played the role of Levita. You won 3 NAACP Image Awards
I
for
did.
that role. Yes,
Yes.
and what an amazing cast! Like That's a show, and I get it. I think it was on WB or UPN. I mean, that's easily a show, and it's cool,
Yep.
but it's easily a show. Could have been on ABC or Fox
Yep.
or CBS or NBC. It was what it was, though. What do you remember most about that role in that cast in that time?
Um, well, so many things come to mind. First of all, working with that cast was a huge blessing. Of course, that was really my introduction into the world as an actress. I have been acting, years before then, but getting that role really introduced me to the world. And that character for me meant so much, very much like how my character now, Antoinette Dunkerson, um, it's a very purposeful role. And Levita was very purposeful to me because I grew up, like I said, in the hood. So Levita was family to me. She's family. She's my neighbor. She's my good friend. So I really got her, and I loved playing her, getting to play her. So she was very special to me. And the funny thing is, when they first brought me onto the show and the character aired, it was like a lot of pushback at first, about adding a character that's so ghetto and this and that. And I was like, well, it's just real life. It's like all of us are not one way. Some of us are ghetto, some of us are stuck up, some of us are very educated, some of us are barely, it's just levels. And I'm like, we're artists. We got to tell stories of life. We can't just tell the shining, perfect people, because we're not like that. We're layered and we're flawed and we're all the things. And so I think that's the beauty of art, and that's the beauty of getting to do what I get to do, is I get to bring these characters to life. So it was funny in the end. Yes, I ended up getting 3 NAACP Image Awards for that character that they originally pushed back on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the beautiful thing. And then, so was I reading also, because you were part of Soul Food,
Yeah.
the series? Did you want an NAACP Image, excuse me, Image Award there also?
I was nominated. I didn't win that one, but I was
Nominated.
nominated, which was very beautiful because she was totally opposite of what Levita was, you know? So that was really cool.
Yeah,
I always appreciate Felicia Henderson, the creator of Soul Food, for bringing me on with that character, coming off of playing Steve Harvey show for so many years. And, my first gig after that was a dramatic part as on Soul Food. So that was great.
that is very, very cool. The one and only Terri J. Vaughn joining us here on the program. She the People premieres on Netflix on May the 22nd. So, San Francisco, like, my wife and I spent a little time out there last year because she's a big Warriors fan, and we went to go see I say last year, meaning February 2024. The
Mhm.
Warriors were playing the Suns, the Phoenix Suns, with Kevin Durant and all that. We had a great time, went down to the wharf. We were in Chinatown. You know what I mean? We stayed downtown in the, I guess, more or less the high end shopping district. So we had a fabulous time. What do you remember most, kind of growing up in San Francisco? And do you get back home a lot?
Yeah, because all my family is still there. So it's still home. It will always be. I am a Bay Area girl. And I love my city, and it's funny because growing up there as a kid, growing up in Hunters Point, it was never like a big deal. Like, San Francisco was just somewhere I lived. It was not a big deal.
Right.
And it wasn't until I became an adult and moved away and I realized how impactful and how beautiful the city really is. So I love being from where I'm from.
Yeah. Did you ever know about? Did you ever watch this program called The Streets of San Francisco with a young Michael Douglas?
Yeah, yes, yeah. You know what? I haven't thought about that in years. Yeah, I was a kid, but I remember that show.
Right,
Totally.
because yeah, I
Streets of
didn't know about it, but
Yep.
it comes on Me TV Plus now. Like, I watch it every day now.
That
So, like,
is
Michael
so
Douglas was on
funny.
TV first.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah,
funny. I totally remember that.
yeah,
There's so
yeah.
many
I mean,
shows that is set in San Francisco, though. It's such an interesting and beautiful city.
yeah. Dirty Harry, the Dirty Harry films with Clint Eastwood set in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Um, you
Full
know,
House,
yeah,
uh, Morgan
yeah,
Mindy.
yep. Oh wow. Oh wow. Yes. Oh my goodness. You are taking me back. Um, you know, what's I know you're a big mental health advocate, and I want to ask you about that, and just why it's so dear to you in terms of being a mental health advocate.
Just because I'm an advocate for us thriving. And I think that especially when it comes to Black people, that we carry so much because we can, but it doesn't mean that it's right. And I mean carry so much mentally and emotionally. We just keep it going. We just keep it going. We keep building. We keep climbing. We never stop. We never give up. And that does take a toll on us. I don't think that we live our healthiest lives if we are not also really giving attention to our mental health, given all the things that we are up against in life in the world. And yes, we're amazing people, and yes, we continue to thrive. But we also need to take care of ourselves so that we can enjoy the thriving, enjoy the living and the lives that we are able to still build and create for ourselves. I feel like it's probably too many of us are doing that, building, thriving, and growing, but not necessarily enjoying it or feeling the joy of it in the way that we deserve to. And a lot of it is just carrying the weight of things that lay on us. I think about like my boys. I think about there was a time when I was like really stressed out every time they walked out the door. That's terrible for my mental health to think that just because my kid just walked out the door to go to the store or to the corner or check the mailbox or hang out with their friends, and the first thing that comes in my mind is, oh my God, I hope they'll be okay today. So I think that we have to take it's empowering for ourselves to take care of our mental health. And why not? Just as important as our physical workouts, our spiritual workouts, our mental workout is just as important. And so that I definitely pour that into my kids.
Very well said. A couple of more thoughts, Terry. We appreciate the time. Terry J. Vaughn joining us. Sports. Are you a big sports fan?
Kind of sometimes.
Are
My
you cheering for the
household
Warriors?
is.
The Warriors?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I'm Bay Area all the way. So the Warriors, yes. And the 49ers, yes. So I've been a fan of theirs for a very long time. Actually, I used to work at the Marriott Hotel at the San Francisco airport when I was in college. And
Mhm.
so the 49ers, that's their home hotel. That's where they would stay for every home game. So I really became big fans when back in the day, just because again, aging ourselves, that's when Joe Montana, Roger Craig, and all those guys were playing. And so I had bought a 49er sweatshirt and I gave it to one of the players, and they had the whole team sign my sweatshirt in their
Wow.
meeting. And so I still have that sweatshirt, and I've been offered
Oh
money
yeah.
for it all through the years, but I still have it. I've never washed it. I only have worn it maybe 4 times.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Joe Mont. Yeah, I mean those were some great teams. I mean
I
in the '80s. I
know.
mean I'm a well back then Redskins fan, Commanders now, but like the team because they weren't. But the other team I really did like was the 49ers. They were doing some really big things. That's really cool.
Yep.
Where'd you go to school, by the way? Where'd you go to college?
Cal State Hayward. They changed the
Oh,
name of
very
it
good.
though.
Very good.
It was Cal State Hayward. I can't remember what they changed it to now.
Okay. All right. And then last thoughts, maybe next projects. I know you're back in front of the camera in this particular project, She the People, but are you doing any other, producing, writing, etc.?
Of course, it never stops. I'm always doing something. So I'm actually directing an episode of Reasonable Doubt in a couple of weeks. It's one of my favorite TV shows that is on right now. I love Reasonable Doubt.
Yes.
So I'm really
Yes.
excited about that. And I have a slate of projects through my TJB Enterprises company. We have a slate of projects that, She the People was just the first one that we were able to get off and out. And so I have more.
Yeah. Well, we know you're going to be. I mean, if you're able to get the first project out, we know success is going to be coming for the next project. And we are so excited for you. She the People debuts on Netflix on May the 22nd. So check it out. It stars the one and only, excuse me, Terri J. Vaughn joining us here on Radio Boss. Terri, really appreciate the time.
Thank you
Continued
so much.
success in all you do.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Spread the word, everyone.
Absolutely.